I came across this video titled "Body Camera Video Shows Horrific Crime Scene," and it's a news report from Florida, and it's referring to a murder that occurred in the year 2019. Never heard of the murder. It's a really sad 1 minute clip. At 1 minute, or I'm sorry, it's a 1 minute and 42 clip. Mm-hmm. At 1 minute and 45 seconds, it becomes the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It is a murder that took place in Florida, and it involved a couple of white Florida teenagers.
Okay.
And that's how I'm setting it up.
And when we just hit play from the beginning?
I mean, your classic fucking white Florida teenager.
I'm familiar.
Palm Beach, I think. Just white Florida teenager. Hit play.
Police arrived at the two-story home in March. Urgent confusion clouded the crime scene. Neighbors said Elaine Simons had just rung their doorbell telling a horrific story.
The doorbell rang. I went to the door. She was slumped over like this, bleeding all over. I said, I got stabbed.
They said Simons...
By the way, that guy's a mafioso who relocated.
Yeah, he did have...
His distance from the way the blood was, his accent.
He's not being too descriptive about anything. He's like, look, I saw something. I maybe saw it.
It was blood. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
His 13-year-old son, Dane, came stumbling into their backyard, also covered in blood, stabbed more than 24 times.
Horrible story.
Snipers set up outside the house, and then Simon's oldest son, 15-year-old Kyle, came outside shirtless and confused. Police weren't sure how many people might be dead, how many people might be responsible.
Hit pause.
Bodies in the house.
We got a Dane
And a Kyle.
A Kyle. Was there another guy? Simon, maybe?
I'm not sure.
We got Dane and Kyle. All right.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for the crime?
As well as suspects in the house, both.
Eventually, police figured out there was one body in the house. 13-year-old Giovanni Sierra stabbed to death in the upstairs loft. And downstairs, hiding in the study, the suspected killer, 17-year-old Corey Johnson.
Is he holding a knife?
Yeah, he has a knife in his hand.
Just close the door. Just close the door.
His best friend Kyle was still confused about what he'd glimpsed on the loft as he stumbled out of his bedroom, thinking it was his brother lying on the floor.
I went to the loft and I saw my brother on the floor and I saw a bunch of blood marks or stain marks of blood around it. And I'm like, what the heck?
The dawning daylight revealing the awful trail of blood throughout the house, leading to Giovanni's body 1 day after his birthday.
Pause. Horrifying story.
Yeah, it's tough to even watch.
Here comes a punchline.
Police say Johnson was influenced by violent jihadist videos, and he told them Giovanni was making fun of his newfound Islamic beliefs. He awaits trial on murder and attempted murder charges.
Like the whitest guy ever named Corey Johnson.
He'd been Muslim for an hour.
You think me and him... Think about it. Okay, he's a white teenager from Florida.
Yeah.
He killed somebody over his Islamic religion. You think maybe me and him Freaky Friday'd at some point? I'm in the wrong body.
Yeah, you're in here vaping into the mic. You're drinking highball energy drinks.
I'm trading Bitcoin during the day. I'm vaping nonstop. I have a podcast.
Yeah, you're a Kyle.
I'm Kyle Corey. He's Ramsey Badawi.
Your father must have watched that and been like, man, my son's such a screw up.
Freaky Friday, Freaky Jum'ah.
Is that an apostrophe? Is that what that pause is?
I don't even want to begin to try to decipher what that is. It's kind of a pause.
How did you stumble across this, by the way?
I don't even know. Just watching
various murder news?
Not even murder news. I was really looking for court proceedings. That's my jam.
Yeah, you love that. Do you love a good, Exhibit A?
I love every night I go to sleep listening to somebody interrogate somebody else who has nothing to do with the crime. So
is it a lot drier than in TV? Is it like when they're interrogating somebody? Is there a you can't handle the truth type moment?
Look, they call it. There's a confrontation. It happens usually somewhere at the 4 hour and 22 minute mark of these interrogations are like Chappelle sets. They go on and on and on, and they kind of ramble and they get into weird territory because they're trying to build trust with the guy.
Could you imagine falling asleep during a murder trial? Because I imagine I would.
It's really, I'm telling you.
Like if I was a juror, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, it's calming, man. It's calming. The people try to speak in a very kind of soothing rhythm. Everyone's wearing weird clothing.
Like what? Like suits?
Yeah, suits, and you're wearing flowery dress. The judge is wearing a robe, so he looks comfortable.
He looks comfortable. Yeah, he's in his PJs. And also, I imagine a lot of murders might have people who generally don't tend to dress up all the time.
Yeah.
So their nice clothes might not be the best looking, the best fitting.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kind of Ace Ventura vibe.
It's yeah. Some people, I would say, don't have, or maybe they only have court clothing.
Yeah, I used to have a court shirt.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a court. I remember my roommate borrowed it. I came in. I was like, "What? You're wearing my court shirt?
Oh yeah, that's
I'm gonna get a stain on my court shirt, and then what am I gonna do next time I get arrested?"
would be devastating for you. I've never been to court before. I wish you would think I would have been at least a juror.
Yeah, seems like you would love jury duty.
I've never gotten it because I want it too bad, I think.
I've gone to court dates to support people who were in trouble.
Oh, really?
Yes. Environmentalist activists, animal rights activists.
So the idea of you going there is that maybe by you being there, the judge will be nicer to the person?
Yeah. Like basically they'll be swayed by saying, "Oh, this is a like popular member of the community."
Yeah.
Or they're going to be like, "Look, if we throw the book at this person, they obviously got a lot of kind of powder keg friends."
Sure. I imagine that was really what you were going for. I don't think you were. As you said that first part of the sentence, I was going, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that was the real. It's tough to be like, "Yeah, we kind of were intimidating a judge." You don't really want to say that.
we were there to scare the judicial system. Why?
Is there anything wrong with that? It's my constitutional right.
What community would the judge look at you and be like, "Oh, that guy's definitely, well, I'm sure this is the church."
Yeah. Oh, this person has clearly productive friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who seem to not shower and have asymmetrical haircuts.
Yeah. It seemed like most of the people who were there to support the people that you were there to support were there to study it and see what was going to happen because they were going to be in the same situation next week.
There might be a little bit of that.
Some overlap.
I remember I went to the first people ever tried under the Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act. Which is commonly known as the AETA.
Animal Enterprise Terrorism Act?
So if you do anything to intimidate anybody in the animal enterprise,
okay,
meaning like the fur trade or anything like that, then it's now a federal felony immediately. So these people were passing around the addresses of some vivisectors.
Yeah.
And it was just on flyers, and they were facing 15 years in prison. Mm-hmm. All the charges got dropped because it turns out all those kids were amazingly rich.
Were you vegan at this time? Or
yes.
were you? Okay, you were vegan at this time. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Well, when you were vegan, did you have an issue with scallops?
Yeah, I wouldn't have ate scallops.
Really? Because scallops, I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but they don't got a nervous system. They're kind of like opposite of a Jew. Hey, folks, how you doing?
How are you?
Let's get this show rolling.
How are you? Okay.
It's the worst hour of the week with Bryan Vokey and Ramsey Badawi.
You know what, man? We'd really try to get it off usually on a better note, but
you take what you get. You know what I mean?
You take what you get. Welcome to the show, folks. Before we get started here, I do want to check out this video. We have viewer submitted videos.
Yeah, finally, you guys are kind of pulling your weight.
Yeah, absolutely. Worsthouroftheweek@gmail.com. If you have a good video, we'd love to see it. This comes from Jonah in Florida. Jonah sent us in this video, which is a Hamas Mickey Mouse. Here's the title of the video. It's a YouTube video. It was published, first of all, July 3rd, 2007, so pre-Obama.
Yeah, before things got weird.
You got to understand, during this time, George W. Bush was sort of what we were used to. The Arab world was pretty pissed off.
Yeah. It was a little different era.
Things were not going well, unlike today. Who could have predicted? So this video is titled "Hamas Mickey Mouse is Martyred by Israelis." And it is, of course, looks like it was transcribed by our boys over at Memory TV. Shout out to Memory TV, sponsors of the show. This is... Go back. I got to read even that. There's a title screen here. All right. Let's say The Pioneers of Tomorrow, a children's show on Hamas TV. We got to see if we can get a deal with Hamas TV. I didn't know they had their own network in Palestine.
They have to pick us up.
If they listen to the last several, okay, well, maybe not the last few episodes.
No, they would be those we would hide.
We would hide those.
We would bury those. But the way you opened this show,
yeah,
they would have loved that.
The pioneers of tomorrow, Al-Aqsa TV. Al-Aqsa is the mosque in that all the Palestinians are essentially fighting for in Jerusalem. Just FYI.
In East Jerusalem?
Yeah, East Jerusalem, Al-Aqsa. I believe it was built on some type of holy grounds for the Israelis, and that's really one of the major tension points of the Middle East.
Isn't the whole thing a holy ground? When you have a place for 7,000 years, a lot of important stuff's going to happen all over the place.
It seems to me like you're right about that. It's inevitable. At some point, we all have to just acknowledge that, everything is holy. So
here we go.
All right.
Pioneers of tomorrow.
Okay, so this pays off right away immediately. We have what looks like a Bedouin.
Yeah, that was Mickey Mouse's voice, by the way.
Yeah, that was Mickey Mouse. I believe actually he has a different name. He might be named like Farfour or something like that. All right, so this mouse. By the way, they have not explained to us why this mouse is.
That's his grandfather. So this old Bedouin, which is actually a young man when they get close to his face, but he's playing an old, ancient Bedouin, and his.
Lay off the Palestinians. Not a lot of people get old over there. It's very tough to find old actors.
It's also just, it's more Hollywood bullshit where as soon as you get old, they don't cast you.
They won't cast you over there.
Yeah. So this mouse, who's very close to Mickey Mouse, but his ears are a lot more modest.
Yeah.
This
is obviously was advised by me in terms of putting this costume together, where I was like, listen, if you keep the ears proportionally down a little bit,
no way they could copyright you.
This is just a mouse.
Yeah.
Your Honor, is it possible? Your Honor, I have a question. Is it possible to copyright a genus?
Yeah. I don't think Farfour looks anything like Mickey.
Farfour! Farfour, dude. I fucking love him. He has a much catchier name. Be real with me.
Yeah,
the Arab version of Mickey Mouse is catchier.
If Mickey Mouse was named Farfour, I would be on board right now. I'd be like one of those old Disney guys who, how those guys go and they make their pilgrimage to Disney every year.
Yeah.
They wear the mouse ears.
Exactly.
I would be a Farfour guy.
Dude, we would go to the Al-Aqsa together.
Like it's Disney. I got a big red bow tie on.
We'd go give those Jews something to really wail about.
Is it the Wailing Wall?
That's the Wailing Wall.
Gotcha.
I wonder if anyone has ever done that before. All right, well.
Oh, was that insulting?
Very insulting. When I'm
Shame on you.
How dare you? I've been shamed.
Okay, let's get back to this old Bedouin and his mouse grandchild.
This would imply that this Bedouin fucked a mouse.
Yeah, or his kids did, and he's just not judging them for it.
Okay, fair enough. I guess you're right. That is absolutely a possibility that he's just being really cool about a decision his kids made. Okay, so he's explaining to him that this land that they're on is from his forefathers, and he wants to protect it for Farfour. He's kind of going. He's been a little flowery about.
He's been a little bit of a real estate agent right now. He's telling him that this land is covered in flowers. He says, like, this is a beautiful land. It's covered in olive trees and flowers, and you can see that quite a bit of land in the shot, and I don't see one flower.
Well, it's off camera, dude.
This ain't covered in flowers. You should be at least able to see one flower.
Okay, there is, I'm sure, plenty of flowers off camera. All right, man. I've been to Palestine before. I remember seeing a flower there.
He says he wants you to protect this land, Farfour, because he's dying. By the way, that's the opening thing. This Bedouin, the children's show, starts with the grandfather's last words. He's keeled over, dying, asking his mouse grandson to protect the land.
From my standpoint, I'm telling you, I have not finished this, but that is because this grandfather is playing multiple people in this. I promise you. Okay, so now he's explaining to them the origins of the land of Tel Aviv. I guess Tel Aviv used to be called Tel Arib.
Yeah, and that's like the Palestinian version of it.
I'd never heard that before.
Really?
It seems made up, to be completely honest with you. Tel Aviv, like that's what we called it.
Oh, gotcha.
Seems like it's like really.
You should fact check with a family member.
I'll fact check with him. My dad will be like, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, even if it's the first time he heard it was from you, he'd be like, "Yeah, that's 100% true." Keep this key with you. When the land is regained, use this key, Farfour.
You know, my parents say the same shit to me. They're always talking to me about what the land will be worth someday. Okay, so he's giving him a giant key and some documents.
He's pulled out a napkin with some writing on it, and he says, "These documents prove that the land is yours, Farfour."
This seems like a really sort of bad way to do this. Give him just a key and documents as you die.
It doesn't. It should be like maybe a lawyer.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, so he goes, make sure you don't give up the land. So we know right away this is sort of what's in question. Hey, look, me and him are wearing the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ramsey, what you may have just heard when Ramsey said we were wearing the same kind of thing, essentially Ramsey is dressing like a Bedouin.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. I didn't even mention to them. I was bad broadcasting on my part. I was so engaged by this memo.
You're wearing, is it a Farfour? Is that also the name of the scarf? What is the scarf called?
Farfour is what I'm going to name my first son now. Yeah. After this mouse. After the
Farfour
Hamas
Badawi.
Mouse. I have a feeling
What about Mickey Hamas?
that would have been so much better.
Isn't that better? Mickey Hamas?
Mickey Hamas? Mickey!
Mikhail.
You know, I guarantee you if I went to my cousins and talked about Farfour, they'd be like, oh my God, we love Farfour. We grew up on Farfour.
I have a Farfour tattoo.
I would kill one of my whore cousins if they had a tattoo.
It's India ink. It's erasable.
All my cousins are women. So Grandpa died. Okay,
Okay, so the children's show opens with the grandpa dying and the mouse crying, proclaiming that he will protect the land in his name.
Mouse is
What a heavy, heavy place.
Mouse is wearing a full tuxedo in the desert. So he's now.
So he's screaming.
Brian always hits pause on the best freeze frames.
So the mouse, what's his name again?
Farfour.
Farfour.
Mickey Hamas.
Mickey Hamas is holding the keys and the documents proving that Tel Aviv is his. And he's saying, I don't know how to liberate this land from the filth of the criminal plundering Jews. Children's show.
Yeah, well, obviously you got to punch it up for the kids. Yeah, you got to soften up the language a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure, that wasn't the first draft.
It was the raping, but we said plundering for children.
You know there was a guy. I would love to meet the guy who does standards and practices over for what is this Al-Aqsa TV?
Yeah.
You know, I just don't know if we could clear that word on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get away with calling them filthy criminals. That's absolutely okay.
Dude, this indoctrination is unreal.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so actually they're not translating it properly.
by the way, just did well, before you get into that, really long wide shot, still not one flower. I mean, we're seeing pretty much the whole country.
I mean, dude, I can see a flower. I see something that kind of looks like a flower right now. I'm telling you right now, I understand fluent
Sure.
Arabic. He's being much more insulting in Arabic.
Okay, yeah.
These translations were cleaned up for YouTube.
Okay, so Memory or whoever.
Yeah. Memory's playing it. You know, Memory's trying to play it. I think a cleaner for
So
YouTube.
criminal and plundering Jew is twice softened now.
Yeah, exactly. Was
Jesus
once
Christ.
softened by the network.
And then re-softened.
I wonder if on Hamas TV they're like, yeah, this was put a little too delicately.
Yeah,
do you think you could say something with blood, or how about something about how you're going to do something with their teeth?
They Walmarted this thing. Like when you would go buy a CD from Walmart and they would edit out the lyrics and put
Yeah.
like a goofy word in there.
Yeah. Okay. So now Farfour has declared that he's gonna. Dude, this is some of the worst production I've ever seen.
Yeah.
All right. The next scene, it just faded to black, and we've entered act. What I believe
Two?
is act 2 of a 2-act play here.
Children's show opens. Grandfather dies and puts on his grandson the burden of protecting the land. Act 2, Farfour is interrogated.
He's being interrogated. We don't even see why he got arrested, whether he was read his Miranda rights. We don't know anything before.
Just Mickey Hamas is being interrogated, and the first line of Act 2 is, "What do you want from me? What have you brought me here?"
This guy who's
Why have
playing
you
the
brought me here?
Israeli interrogator is absolutely the grandpa from scene number 1. I'm positive about this.
100%.
Okay, so Farfour and the Israeli interrogator are going back and forth.
What if because they have a fake Israeli flag behind them, kind of. They don't have the star. They just it looks
It looks like the Argentinian flag.
It does. It looks
more than it does the Israeli flag.
They just put blue and white, but they couldn't even begin to because they probably would have accidentally gotten killed while filming this. They're like, no, I swear to God, this is slander. I swear this is slander.
Yeah, and it's pretty tough over there to talk about doing a sketch. There's not a lot of sketch culture, so as you're explaining to people, no, I'm doing a sketch. I'm not really this person.
They just put the colors there.
This is not a real mouse I'm talking to.
Are you sure? That's the interrogation. We've heard your grandfather gave you the keys and the documents of the land.
And Farfour wants to know who told you, and the Israeli interrogator said it's none of your business who told us. Interesting. Yeah, this is
So what's scrolling? By the way, this children's show has a news ticker scrolling below it.
Yeah, that's just body count, and I'm sure it's just giving you, rather than doing scores for like football games, just regional body counts.
Right.
Different parts of Palestine. The most distracting thing about that ticker at the bottom is that it's going the wrong way.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's going left to right.
You're like, what's going on, man?
So how do your eyes are just twitching trying to read?
No, it's the other. It's because you read the other way. You read the right way from right to left.
You have to read that the right way, which is the wrong way for them, right?
The right way to read this, as it's scrolling the right way, I believe, right? Because you're reading this way. Oh, wait.
No, it's like pulling a salmon here. I'm swimming upstream.
You're absolutely correct. They're using probably Adobe or something, and it's like a probably.
So you gotta it's going this way while you gotta look it's going right while you're trying to desperately look left.
There's not enough computer programmers over there to figure out how to get it to go the right way.
We want to buy the land. We want to give you lots of money.
Well, that seems like an okay deal.
You'll get lots of money, and
we'll take the documents, and that's. No, we're not the kind of people who sell their land to terrorists. Farfour, give us the documents. We want them. So it's getting pretty heated between these guys. Oh no, the Israelis.
Oh.
The Israelis.
Oh, he's beating the mouse.
No, I think he's stabbing him. I think he's killing him. Okay, so they just faded to black for no good reason, and they reopened in the same location. All right, now he's coming up, and now we have cut to a young girl
who's just sitting there watching an Israeli man beat Farfour the mouse over the land.
As she is in front of some type of a playpen setting.
Yeah, it's like you can make a floor mat out of puzzle pieces. Yeah, they're literally, I can't stress this enough. There's just a shot of a young little girl watching off camera. You just hear the beating going down.
At any moment, she's going to go, oh, no, turn the camera back over there. What are you looking at me for? Like, she looks like she's backstage.
Okay, Act 3, Farfour is now in prison.
Oh, okay. So the girl's saying, yes, my dear children, we have lost our dearest friend, Farfour. She seems to be some type of a news reporter.
She's a child news anchor.
Well, you do grow up pretty quickly over there. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. Farfour was martyred defending the land of his fathers. He was martyred at the hands of the criminals, the murderers.
The murderers of innocent children. So the third one was the murderers, and then the third one was the murderers of little children. So
right.
And now they're naming all the other people that the Jews have killed. Okay.
And then it just abruptly ends.
It abruptly ends and is now sending us into anti-Semitic YouTube.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
All right. Well,
I'm going to click off that one.
worsthouroftheweek@gmail.com. Please send us anything that you find on Memory. We're huge
I
fans
follow
of it.
Memory on Instagram, and it's so scary because it's always seemingly like just a talk show, like a chat show, and then you read the captions. Like I was watching one today where there was a Lebanese Catholic priest who's on there, and he was talking to an Iranian guy on a TV show about where would you rather live, Turkey or Iran? He was like doing a
Sure.
yeah, would you rather type game with him, and he goes, Iran, 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 Iran. Let me say it again, Iran. The Turks have ruled over us for 400 years, and even if I live to 1,000, I will never forgive them for what they. And it's just like a talk show.
That's every conversation. Before we started the show today, I got here earlier tonight, and I texted Bryan as soon as I got here. And when Bryan found me, when he came downstairs and found me, I was in the darkest corner of Bryan's garage, empty garage.
All I could see was the cherry of his cigarette and the reflection in his glasses.
I was chain smoking and pounding an energy drink with headphones in, listening to a trial from 5 years ago. Bryan, you want to know how that happened?
I think that story might be a little bit too tragic for this podcast.
Do you want to know how that happened? This show, Farfour's history.
Yes.
It's a steady diet of what Farfour had from day one.
Were you showed this kind of stuff as a child?
I wasn't necessarily showed this kind of stuff, but I had this conversation with every adult in Palestine.
Yes.
Twice. Where it was always like, I was like in the 4th grade, and they'd be like, why don't you tell your motherfucking government, tell them right now, if they don't stop sponsoring terrorism against I'm like, dude, I'm in 4th grade.
They must have gone extra hard at you because you're an American.
They used to call me Rumsfeld when I was there.
Rumsfeld?
Like, check out Rumsfeld over here. Hey, look at this fucking guy.
But they saying Rumsfeld or Ramsfeld?
They were saying like Rumsfeld because in Arabic you would call me Rumsey. Like, that's how you pronounce
so
it.
it's still a pun. Good.
So it makes more sense over there than it does here.
Yeah.
Well, hey, welcome to the show, folks. Always a pleasure to be speaking to you. Ladies, gentlemen, women trying to better understand their emotionally detached boyfriends. Thanks for tuning in. I am your host. I feel like if you have a detached boyfriend, this is a good place to start.
Oh, absolutely.
Listening to this show. I'm your host, Ramsey Badawi. Sitting across from me, as always, co-host of the show, Bryan Law and Order Vokey. Bryan, on today's show, we got a great one today, don't we?
We got a ton of news for you guys. We've kind of been focusing internationally, so we're going to get a little domestic today.
Oh, yeah. We're going to take a brief look at the controversy surrounding the bodies exhibit. Spoiler alert, it turns out some of those bodies may have been Chinese prisoners. I have no idea how a spoiler alert works.
I have a lot to say about that.
We'll also take a look at this Turkish televangelist who just was sentenced to 1,075 years in prison for sex crimes. Were the charges real, or was he just being prosecuted for the very fact that he had over 1,000 girlfriends?
That's, a year a girlfriend?
Dude, we'll find out. Could be. Of course, we'll take a look, by the way, at the shameful, terrible, awful, disgraceful events that went down in D.C. I mean, these
knuckleheads.
Bryan, I can't even begin to express how much disgust I have in my heart for those disturbing, shocking... Did I say disgraceful already?
How long have you had your MSNBC contract?
Those were some of the most despicable people that I have ever seen in my entire life who were rioting in Washington, D.C., and we will, of course, talk about that in a second. But first, a little bit of business. You can follow the show across all social media platforms at Worst Hour Pod. Thank you so much, by the way, if you've gone out of your way in the last couple of weeks to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast app. We appreciate that.
Yeah, much appreciated.
It always helps us tremendously. Email the show, worsthouroftheweek@gmail.com. You can follow my co-host here on Twitter at Bryan J. Vokey and at Mr. Bryan Vokey on Instagram. Follow me across all social media platforms at Ramsbad. Also, if you have $5 a month, subscribe to the show on Patreon. Patreon.com/WHotW. Bonus episodes, financial advice. Here's the great part about our Patreon. For a limited time only, we're waiving the background check fee.
And the credit check fee.
We usually do a credit check background fee up front. It's $45 for a limited time only. We are actually waiving it. It's sort of a New Year deal.
Yeah, we used to do 5-finger fingerprints Like full FBI, DOJ background check.
We would come talk to people in your life.
Do you have 5 minutes to talk about Kyle?
What do you think about John? I mean, really, would you want him subscribing to your podcast? We went through great.
Is he later going to do something that will reflect on us poorly?
Yeah. What are the chances he turns up in Kenosha on the wrong side of things?
Right.
So we're waiving that fee right now. We're still doing the background checks, but you don't got to deal with the onboarding fee, as we call it. So great deal, $5 a month. And ultimately, Brian, what I love about our Patreon community is just the network of hot chicks and entrepreneurs. I mean,
That's
really,
pretty much what it is.
It's that easy.
Yeah, some of those hot chicks are entrepreneurs themselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you consider that profession, Patreon.com/WHotW. All right, we'll get into this here, Brian. I really tried to care, by the way, about this Capitol protest.
Could you not care?
I really couldn't give a fuck. People were like, hit me up. Did you see this? Yeah, it was hard. It's hard for me to give a shit about a place where if I went there 80 years ago, they would have hung me on Jim Crow laws just for my hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna give a fuck about this place,
As far as the building is concerned, yeah, that really, it's like, the building where they agreed to invade Iraq. Like the building can go shit itself.
I was more upset by the Target riot. I really was. That was way more upsetting to me. Target has done way more for me and my people. Where do you think I get all this cologne from?
And your tracksuits.
I'm not getting those. I'm not going to a what are those called?
A bazaar?
A bazaar.
Don't you usually...
I'm not going to the souk. All right. But yeah, what about, look, people were like complaining. People weren't complaining, but like the thing that I found annoying was Congress getting up online and, tweeting about how they felt endangered, or whatever. And it's like, dude, you have a fucking sweet job. Sometimes shit's going to happen.
Well, what's funny to me is that one thing that affects Worst Hour personally is that our merch, we were, I don't know if you guys remember, but we did a Christmas giveaway. The worst, saddest Christmas bonus ever won a gift. And what we were going to do, we were going to send people potentially an ISIS headband or an ISIS mask, some kind of ISIS-related merch.
Yeah, by the way, you can expect your prize guaranteed by Christmas 2021. Guaranteed.
And I was in the talks with a couple of shirt companies about actually getting this merch printed, and they said they were down. And I talked to them before the Capitol riots. They said, listen, we'll print whatever you want to print, but if it gets taken down, that the onus is on you, but we'll put it out there. She actually said if there's any copyright violations, and I was like, I'm pretty sure nobody from ISIS is going to take us to copyright court.
But it's a pretty complicated system over there, the Sharia IP law. But you got me.
But then this guy got arrested. One of the guys in the White House or in the Capitol building was wearing that Camp Auschwitz shirt. Did you see that? The Nazi?
Yeah.
And they found out that was from a very similar website to the one I was talking to, that where anybody can upload a design and they'll just print it for you. And so now all these websites are triple checking what they're selling. So this knucklehead blew up our chance to be able to get you guys some ISIS merch. Because now, by the way, that Camp Auschwitz shirt, I looked into it. People had complained about it before, and so people on Twitter were posting the response that TeePublic or whatever the company was called said, and they were like, sorry you don't like the design, but I'm sure we have many others that you would love. And they were selling that Camp Auschwitz in a baby onesie.
Jesus. I think we could probably find somebody to print this. Well, look, we're not saying that we're not going to print the ISIS merch. We're absolutely going to print it.
Just saying we're going to have to turn over other stones because of this knucklehead. Another thing that I thought was really funny about the riots was, did you know, okay, so 5 people died, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that 3 of them did not die from combat related? They just dropped dead from bad health, which I think is hysterical. When you think about the group that was protesting, these are the people who are very much against socialized health care.
Oh, totally.
And they lived it. They proved it. These guys, they really meant it. They were so unhealthy that they couldn't even finish their riot against socialized health care.
So what? They just died from like
There's 2 heart attacks and a stroke.
Oh, boy. That's rough, man.
Just fucking dropping dead. They're so unhealthy.
Yeah.
One of them they claimed was trampled, but people said she was trampled to death, but most reports saying that she just dropped dead in the what was that word? Rotunda? There was some word they were saying a bunch that I was like, I just learned what a foyer is. What the fuck is a rotunda?
Yeah. That was, I did not know that so many, by the way, 13 people, not that many people died. What is that?
5.
13? 5?
5. Yeah, everybody's saying one more than died in Benghazi.
They're not doing that, are they? Really?
I swear to God, because the fraction was too high to make it a 9/11 fraction.
Of course, yeah.
So that was 1/673rd of a 9/11. They can't do that. So they're going one more than Benghazi died, and look what happened after Benghazi.
Look, man, I tried. I really did try, but even though. Look, there were things I liked. Not the politics of the whole situation per se, but dude, all the white trash press conferences this week have been so fucking awesome. Just a guy on his front yard wearing a Jiffy Lube shirt with somebody else's name on it. He's got to apologize and tell people that, it was a momentary lapse in judgment when he decided to take George Washington's teeth, put them in his mouth, and pretend to eat out his girlfriend on Nancy Pelosi's desk.
When I cut out the eyes of the Andrew Jackson painting so I could make like Scooby-Doo and have an eye-chasing painting, I've always wanted to do that. I was a momentary lapse of reason. I sincerely apologize.
All the apologies have been so funny. Just like the fucking most garbage people on the fucking planet just being like, I don't know what came over me, but it was the greatest mistake of my life.
I will be regretting this to my grandchildren.
Then they're closing their broken screen door.
One of the guys is giving the press conference from a podium he stole from the Capitol building.
People are literally. It was sad to watch the people persecute these people because, look, obviously they're a bunch of them are dirtbags or whatever. But it was like, okay, clearly this woman is hooked on opiates. What's going on? Like, we're not dealing with the most sophisticated group of people that showed up to the Capitol.
Which really goes to show what we're dealing with security. Do you think like other terrorists from other people were like, "Are you shitting me?"
It was that easy.
It is that easy to get into that goddamn building.
Yeah.
That these just a couple of like 4,000 rednecks could just get in there. By the way, the guy who fell off the wall, I wish I could play it. I should have pulled it up. Somebody made a great, they put 90s WWF commentary over it as he fell off the wall.
Well, did you see, I pulled up the video of the, we don't have to watch it in its entirety, but there's a video where they showed the cop who died, Sicknick. This has also been one of the funniest things to watch is the media's coverage on this has been all over the place because now all of a sudden they give a fuck about cops.
Their wires are crossed.
Now they're like, veteran has died. It's like CNN has headlines that Fox News typically has where it's like Air Force veteran killed,
Right, but I mean, I'm so sick of that goddamn Air Force veteran who got shot because like I'm so sick of people just being considered great because they were in the military.
She was if you read everything about this woman,
a nut job.
She was an insane person.
She also was, if you watch the video of her getting shot, she was informed that the guy had a gun and she kept going.
Yeah.
It wasn't out of nowhere.
She did, She was the one who tweeted right before she was killed. She tweeted, "Nothing can stop us." Yeah. This is why I'll never confidently tweet anything.
Anything really cocky.
You don't ever want. I'm blessed with that capability of going like, don't ever. That's going to be what's read. That's the last thing right there.
Right. Comedian Bryan Simpson said, "Well, I guess we finally have an answer to what would it take for the cops to murder an unarmed white woman."
All right, hit play on this video. This video is titled "The Moment Officer Bryan Sicknick is Dragged into the Mob and Beaten."
Where is he? Is he down here?
Yeah, you'll see him in a second here. Look, I definitely, our thoughts and prayers are, of course, with the Sicknick family, but, this video, aside from that, is pretty wild.
By the way, there are people, okay, real quick, I'm going to pause this. We're watching a video of an actual, like they're storming the Capitol building, people are rioting, and they're still smart, like iPhones are so engaging that there are people just staring at their phones.
Yeah, people are on their phones. People are filming.
Look at this guy. He's taking a selfie over here.
Yeah, so they're trying to get into the building. You have the cops just occasionally coming out and whacking a Trump supporter, which is hilarious.
This guy's getting an air horn ready. He can't figure it out, though.
Dude, these guys are savages, man.
This is the face of like these people are. And just make it clear, these people are fighting so that their lives stay the same. These people, like, you look at these fucking malnourished, opioid addicted, no teeth having, fucking
Camouflage wearing,
neglected, fucking mistreated people are rioting to make sure that they stay exactly the same.
So much camo.
Realtree made a killing this year.
Without a question. This guy is literally beating somebody with one of his crutches.
It looks like the WWF.
Yeah, tear gas.
Wow.
Now they're getting maced by everybody.
These guys are just eating the mace, by the way.
We talk. Look, this dude is literally just taking it right in the face here. There is a theme that we talk a lot about on this show, which is down-ass chicks. There is some down-ass chicks in this video. There's a moment right here, right when this fog clears out, you're going to see just a guy and his girlfriend. I think she's wearing a pink hat. And they each get a hold of a battering ram. You see the battering ram right here in the middle?
Yep.
And they both take a look at each other. They give each other a nod. And then they start smashing in the window of the Capitol. And I think to myself, I could never get my girlfriend on board with anything this cool. There is no world where I could get my girlfriend. Like, babe, what do you think? We just get a battering ram when we smash in the federal?
I've been in that relationship, my friend. I absolutely have. I've also been in that relationship where it's like, is she really setting that fire? Right? Am I supposed to? I told this story on this podcast. I think it's worth repeating. One time we were at an Occupy Oakland, or I forget which riot it was, but the cops came. And they were coming for us specifically, 5 of us. I don't know what, we weren't doing anything, but they were coming for us for no reason at all.
Mm-hmm.
But
of course, no reason.
And we start running, and back, I was significantly faster than my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of leaving her in the dust a little bit, and then I was like, do I go back? And get arrested? And I was like, you know what? It's better if I could bail her out.
Of course, bail her out. You could, of course, talk to her sister for her. And bang her sister for her. You could do all sorts of things that you might need to do from the outside.
I've had many a girlfriend who is not afraid to use a U-lock in some pretty nefarious ways.
These guys went so, like, they were like, let's do what we think Antifa is, like, impression. Yep. It is truly, look, man, am I proud of what happened that day? A little bit. But aside from that, no,
it's so trashy.
Yeah, it's
how I just don't understand. Like, in my mind, like, I'm like, that's the U.S. government. They must be the most secure. And the fact that you could just do that
look, you can't really do it though, right? Because there have been consequences.
Oh, there'll be a lot of consequences. I mean, there's like guys in there who had zip ties. They were going to try to like handcuff Nancy Pelosi. They built a gallows with a noose.
Yeah.
And they were chanting "Hang Mike Pence." Which, that's another classic left move that they stole, where they're like, you got one noose and you can hang one person. Let's hang the guy who's closest to us.
Yeah. I think the reason why I can laugh at that is because of how insane the idea of that you're going to get to Mike Pence is.
I know.
That you're going to get anywhere near him is so funny. I do want to take this opportunity to say, by the way, that the opinions expressed here were expressed by Bryan Vokey and Ramsey Badawi, and they're not associated with the opinions of Worst Hour Holdings.
100%.
Which is our corporate name. We are actually condemning the riots as Worst Hour Holdings.
You know what bothers me about this is that, like, how did these people, like, the average age of these rioters was like in their 40s.
Yeah, this is...
How do you get the energy? I rioted a lot. Mm-hmm. By 27, I was like, I can't do this anymore.
These rioters were all the deadbeat loser brothers of the people in the Tea Party. You remember the Tea Party?
Oh, yeah, no, this is where it all started. Occupy Tea Party. And then you got this summer, you got the extension. It's been here forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I miss the Tea Party, dude. The Tea Party used to be like, we have protests and we clean up. Like, remember they were so annoying about that? Yes. They'd be like, oh, check it out. You're not going to find a piece of trash.
Yeah, they would be stabbing the Coke cans and putting them in there. Yeah, no. They also, much like you talked about how ISIS has an unclear mission where it's like, we want to go back in time. They want to go back to the 1700s.
Yeah.
So I see why you're sympathetic to them.
Well, listen, I have. What do you want from me, man? I'm from Orange County, through and through. Let's see. Some of these corporate stances have been on the situation. Have been pretty great. Axe body spray was found at the Capitol. Did you see that?
Were they using it as a flamethrower?
I don't know. It could have been. It could have been used by the cops against the rioters. I'm not entirely. There's no proof that it was used one way or the other. Axe body spray has voiced their opinion against it. Deutsche Bank distances itself from Trump afterwards.
That's rough.
Deutsche Bank, who, by the way, in 1933, when Hitler seized power, they actually kicked off their 3 Jewish board members off of their bank.
Deutsche Bank did?
They kicked off their like as soon as he seized power, they were like, "Look, this is what we got to do.
We see the tide.
We know
they see the tide now."
Yeah, they absolutely
That's
do.
perfectly consistent.
Coca-Cola announced it will suspend its political. By the way, this is a article. We'll post this in the show notes here. This is from Vox. All the corporate stances on the the Capitol riot. Coca-Cola has announced it will suspend its political contributions, but will donate to President-elect Joe Biden's inaugural committee. I promise you, Coca-Cola has killed more people every day.
That was a big. I mean, they were when I was a kid in high school in the early 2000s. Their Columbia Coca-Cola factories were attempting to unionize, and Coca-Cola hired private security people who murdered the leaders of the union organizers in Colombia.
I mean, they are the most ruthless motherfuckers who have ever existed.
Also, these companies, the reason why they say they're suspending their political action committees is because they donate to all of these politicians.
Yeah, that's exactly what that means. Dow Chemical Company is suspending corporate and employee PAC contributions for 1 election cycle. I love that, where they're like, you know what? All of you have proven that you're not worth our money, so we're sitting this one out. I hope you guys are happy.
You'll get it in 18 months, though.
All of you will, by the way.
All of you.
Every single one of you will.
All sides. Yeah, they spread their money to both sides so that everybody capitulates to them. It's this is interesting right here. I like this one.
Man in Capitol is what does it say? Fired after wearing his company ID badge to the riot.
Was he just leaving work?
I mean, you got to give it to that guy. That's commitment.
Was he? Also, where did he work? Do you remember?
I didn't see where he would. Let's see here. ID badge from his Maryland-based direct mail printing company. So, it wasn't as cush. I can't imagine it was a great gig.
I mean, listen, I've only had a few jobs that even had a badge.
Yeah, a badge is a pretty good. Nothing, no matter how shitty your job is, when you swipe with a badge and to get in, it feels pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, when the NSA has janitors, who have to have full background checks and badges.
You sweep that badge, bloop, opens the door.
Boom.
Fucking awesome, dude. The snitching that is happening on people is insane,
and people act like this doesn't have any long-term consequences either.
It's crazy. So TikTok teens and Twitter is just scanning all these photos, all these videos, trying to identify people to the FBI. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Trying to get them fired from their workplace.
The FBI did a press conference today, and it was so funny because one FBI agent, both shaved head, the most stereotypical looking FBI agents, but one had the thickest Boston accent, the other one had the thickest Midwestern accent. It was like 2 of the whitest of white brands that America makes.
Sure.
And they were just asking people to snitch, and they had a hotline, and they said they received thousands and thousands of tips.
If you join our Patreon, $5 a month, we will actually digitally impose all of your coworkers into the riot if you'd like. Get them all fired for you.
It'd be so easy.
Wouldn't be hard to do. Would be anytime you're anytime you're in the position where you're denying that you were at a riot, it's not good for you.
I used to do a bit about this where before the pandemic and everybody was on unemployment, that used to be the most desired job of mine. And I talked about how doxing, I was going to go to like a fucking, what was that riot that happened in West Virginia or Charlottesville?
Yeah.
I was going to go to a Charlottesville type rally and go to the front row and then dox myself so I could get fired and collect unemployment.
Hey.
That was a wrongful termination that has nothing to do with what happened here.
That would be on your background check forever. It would be well worth it. I promise you.
I would get 6 months of $500 a week.
Well fucking worth it.
Like a king.
All right. So look, we're not going to continue to talk ad nauseum here. A phrase I've always been.
You've been meaning to get that in there?
I've been dying to say ad nauseum for at least, a fortnight. Let's talk about some international stories here, man. That's, it feels good to take a look at the world and realize, it ain't so bad.
Right. You could be trampled anywhere, not just DC.
You could be trampled anywhere. And I'll tell you what, a lot of these countries were trying to talk shit, by the way. South Africa was like, let me tell you, let's write an email to tell America what it's like to transition to a democracy. It's like, go fuck yourselves, dude.
Did they? Oh my God.
So, it definitely, look, it's, there's definitely some horrendous stories out there. For example, this bodies exhibit here. This story takes place in Sydney, Australia, where I guess there's calls to shut down the bodies exhibit.
Which, by the way, if you don't know what the bodies exhibit is, it's called Real Bodies, and it travels the world. And it's been 10 years of this controversy. Everywhere they go, people protest this because they've known it's preserved, skinned human body. It looks like Jeffrey Dahmer's closet.
Yeah.
It's like,
so it's a science exhibit where they basically they stuff human beings. And they
reduce them and preserve them. So you can see the central nervous system, and then you can see a skeleton, and then you can see the sinewy shit, and then you can see the muscle tissue. And they put them in athletic positions so you can see how muscles form. And I went on a first date to the bodies exhibit.
Why?
I got free tickets for being a vet.
Yeah, that is totally a vet thing. Because I've seen the bodies exhibit ads my entire life.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned,
park benches and shit.
Totally, it's between Shenyang and the bodies exhibit. There's death, there's taxes, and then I know there's a bodies exhibit somewhere around me. I've never once been tempted to go.
I was like, because I don't know what people like. So I was like, oh, maybe she'll dig this.
Maybe she'll be into science.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe she'll
museums. That sounds classy.
Certainly.
You got to go to. It actually wasn't. It was more of a convention center. But
so they bring the bodies out.
Yeah, and we get separated. Me and the girl I'm taking. This is a first date, and we get separated. And I'm looking for her, and I find her, and she's just staring at the muscle tissue of a little boy crying. And I was like, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, so they take these bodies, they put them in these fun poses. Bryan tries to fuck chicks with them. It's really the main purpose why they do it.
I just go wherever they give the vets tickets to go to.
It's look. So the people of Sydney are alleging that these bodies are Chinese prisoners.
It's not even it's real.
It seems. Well, I wouldn't be shocked.
I mean, yeah, people have been saying it for like 10 years. They're saying that it's executed Chinese prisoners. And China claims that these bodies are unclaimed, executed bodies that were unclaimed for 30 days. But everybody who is familiar with the process that it takes to preserve these bodies, you have to start within 48 hours.
Sure.
So
okay.
You had 48 hours to claim them?
People of Sydney are wanting, there's protesters all over the place. I say before we shut this down, let's really think about this. If you're a Chinese prisoner, this might be the best. The bodies exhibit might be what you're hoping for.
It definitely seems like a best case scenario.
It seems like we're caring a little too much about what's happening to them after the death. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of care going into what's going on pre the death.
Yeah, there's a huge petition to give these bodies like a proper burial. Meanwhile, some guy's getting a blindfold tied around him with 14 rifles pointed at him. He's like, what about me, motherfucker?
They're trying to pin leaking COVID-19 on him. They're trying to pin not making the virus, but like telling the world about it.
Oh, yeah.
The number of people currently like serving prison sentences for being like, I tweeted about COVID-19 in November.
Death.
So, by the way, this is the weirdest way we can use bodies, if I can be completely honest with you. If I was at a bodies exhibit and I needed a kidney, I would feel a little bit weird.
You got this. They're all very healthy, young.
The most douchey thing you could do with your body. I have a sticker on the back of my license that says that I'm donating my body to the bodies exhibit.
Do not harvest my organs. I want them preserved and on display for people to enjoy forever.
I'm donating my body, but goddamn it, no one's getting any good out of it. I promise you.
They have smokers' lungs and healthy lungs.
Yeah,
They have all that shit.
popcorn lung with me. I'm the vaping guy. My body is skinned, and I just have a backwards cap still on, holding my jewel or whatever. All right, we have a
Worst first date I ever went on, by the way.
It's got to be a horrible first date, dude. But you and I should go to that together.
Yeah, we should do a live podcast.
Is there a smell? Do they keep the teeth? What's the situation with the teeth?
The teeth are clean.
They're there though.
They're there. Yeah. Some
teeth,
of them.
Your teeth can stay that long. I guess they're just bones. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
they're
that
just
makes sense.
bones. Yeah, the only thing that rots them is what we do to them.
Facial hair's gone, right? You don't got any facial. You don't got any skin.
No, there's no skin.
It'd be weird. Maybe you have some facial hair without the skin. That'd be fucking crazy, dude. That'd be fucking. That's a nightmare.
See, this is why I thought she would think it was cool.
You thought there'd be a first date conversation there? Yeah.
Yeah, how'd they get the beard with the skin off? What kind of technology is that? So you feel like getting out of here and going back to my place?
There's not. The bodies exhibit is so fucking weird because I would think every other museum has like a concession stand, and I can't imagine.
These more have like airplane vomit bags in them.
Was there like a cafeteria or something? Or?
I don't remember. All I know is that girl definitely thought I was going to skin her alive.
Yeah. Well, why I could see where she got the idea. All right. Let's see. This Turkish televangelist was sentenced to 1,075 years for sex crimes. This is one of the first times I've ever heard of a Middle Eastern punishment. And after I read the article, I went, sounds about right.
That guy is going to be in jail until, what's 1430 plus 1,075?
You're out of here. And he's up for parole. He's up for parole.
We should make some fucking 90s movie where he figures out how to switch the calendars.
I love the idea.
So he's paroled on the...
You will be up for parole around the year 2040-02.
Yeah, it says you will be eligible for parole in 1998.
You'll be eligible for parole in the year 2068. Oh, I'm AH.
Damn it.
Not AD, AH.
This guy, I saw a documentary Vice made on him years ago. You know what's funny is the crimes he's a Islamist creationist, which aren't all religious people creationists? I don't understand why that's a distinction.
Yeah, no, I believe that is correct. I mean, all religious people are, or at least God of Abraham.
Yeah, they all believe that God. Yeah. So for some reason he's a unique kind of creationist, but he had a bunch of girls that he called kittens, and they got them all plastic surgery, and he made them all look white, like he bleached all their hair.
And he would like preach about Islam with these chicks around him.
Yeah. He was like a feminist. He was an Islamic feminist. And by that, he enslaved Turkish women and made them look white and danced with them. Gave them big honkers and shit, too.
He definitely one of the scummiest looking dudes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And so he had these kittens that were, and he basically told people that, this is the greatest place on earth to be a woman. This is the only place in the world where a woman is equal. But they were all kind of enslaved. But he was arrested. The charges, it says, this headline's misleading. It says he was arrested for sex crimes, but most of what he was arrested for was like espionage and treason and all these other things that probably, because they were probably like, look, if he's arrested on rape, we have to give him an award. we can't put him in jail.
We already gave the key to the city out.
I know.
What are we going to do?
Let's just splash some espionage in there so we can actually.
Yeah, his list of charges is pretty hilarious. His list of charges is like, where is it? It's like sexual abuse, espionage, leaking political secrets, improper touching of children. They ran the gamut with him.
Yeah, so military espionage, attempted fraud, abuse of minors, sexual assault. So they were like, all right.
Jaywalking.
Yeah, so they were like, sexual assault, sexual abuse of minors, that gets you 3 years of R&R. but also military espionage and fraud. Now we can put you away for 1,000 years.
They give him time served because of the rape. They're like, and you did rape a couple of people, so we're going to give you... So
it was originally 2,075.
So obviously we're going to give you some time served.
And if you guys don't remember, if you haven't been listening to this podcast for a long time, but like 6 months ago, we did a story where Erdogan and his administration, the prime minister of Turkey, passed a bill where if you rape somebody and you can convince her to marry you, then you're no longer charged with rape.
Well, I would have to...
It was called the Marry Your Rapist Bill.
Listen, I would not... I'll have to hear more about the bill before I pass it, but that's a pretty challenging act on your part.
I told my friend this story. He was raised Muslim in the Middle East, and he goes, I told him about the Marry Your Rapist Bill, and he goes, yeah, that's in the Quran.
Nah, it can't be. I mean, come on, dude.
But the way he rolled with it, where it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know.
No, I'm kidding. I'm sure it is. I have no idea. This guy's name is Akhtar Babuna. That's us.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's Adnan Akhtar. No, but if you go down a little lower, there's a guy named Akhtar Babuna.
Oh yeah, there he is.
His buddy Akhtar Babuna and Tarkan Yavuz.
They got light sentences.
They got pretty light sentences. It looks like Tarkan is going away for 211 years, and Akhtar's only got 186 years, respectively.
So he'll be out in the 1500s.
So ultimately, this guy's charges seem to be tied, though, according to this article, to a failed coup in 2016.
Yeah.
I failed a lot of things, by the way. I failed a couple of podcast launches. I failed a couple of, writing projects. I'd hate to fail a coup. That's an embarrassment.
But also, like, what is a failed coup?
Either, it doesn't matter. You don't want it to be associated with you. The last thing I would ever want associated with me was, there's failed coupist Ramsey Badawi, failed revolutionary Ramsey Badawi. Like, what an embarrassing thing to have failed.
Maybe he could have pulled a Castro. Castro failed, then 3 years later, he succeeded.
But he was, which one do we remember?
You're right.
So... wish we would have stuck around. By the way, I just realized. Oh wait, hold on. We almost missed you highlighted the great parts of the story here. So during his trial, a couple of great pieces of information came out. He was absolutely guilty of all of the rape stuff. So that.
Yeah, the women testified themselves.
Yeah, there's a Cosby situation going on where there was just dozens and dozens of women.
Yeah.
Testifying against him. His defense apparently was that, first and foremost, he had close to 1,000 girlfriends.
Those are all my girlfriends.
So
calling them your girlfriends is so insecure and weird.
It is really insecure.
They're all my girlfriends. Don't talk to them.
Can't you just be a rapist, dude? Yeah, do you have to be clingy too?
Yeah.
You fucking weirdo. He said that in addition to 1,000 girlfriends, that he's very potent. Where is that? Yeah, I'm very potent. So
he says there's an overflowing love in his heart for women, and love is a human quality. It is the quality of a Muslim.
So we were up for a little while workshopping a defense, and this was kind of what we landed on. I'm part of his defense team. So we got to the 1,000 girlfriend defense, and while he was saying that, I was off screen mouthing it at the same time.
1,000 girlfriends.
Because we practiced that 1,000 times.
He apparently he first came to public attention in the 90s when he was the leader of a sect that was caught up in multiple sex scandals.
Let's see. Adding that she herself had joined when she was 17. Let's look up what the
age of consent.
What's the age of consent in the Ottoman Empire? So according to Turkish police, they found 69,000 contraception pills in his...
The ego of this guy.
69,000 contraceptive pills? Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
How much? Just buy it. Just fucking pull out, dog.
I know.
69,000? That means he had never, ever, ever planned to pull out ever again.
69,000. He could never hit
He
that
could never
number.
hit that number.
Dude, and he's one of those guys, he's got the jet black Steven Seagal black dyed beard and hair.
Yeah, he looks great. Yeah, we're not going to take that away from him. I could see why.
He looks like Anton LaVey.
He does look potent. I wonder if this is Akhtar or if that's Kaboosh.
What is that this guy's holding in the picture? He's got like a mushroom or maybe a dildo.
Yeah, it's I can't tell. So, all right, man. Let's call it a show here. We have been broadcasting long enough. Follow the show again, Worst Hour Pod. Go ahead. That's Worst Hour Pod on all social media. Follow us. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/WHOTW. Send us an email, worsthouroftheweek@gmail.com. 5 stars on the Apple Podcast app. If you could do that, we would greatly appreciate it. Check out our YouTube channel as well. Exclusive clips available to you. Once we get video up and going again, which should happen shortly, we get every episode up, or we try to.
And also, when we break down a video that we're watching, we'll post the video with us talking over it, so you can follow along.
All the relevant show links will be in the show notes, as always. Let's see. Check out Bryan's brand new show, Fat Jocks, available everywhere you get podcasts. Let's see. Anything else you got to plug here?
No, sir.
Well, if you got nothing else to say and I got nothing else to say, on behalf of me, Bryan Vokey, and everybody here at the Worst Hour Nation, peace be on to the prophet.
Bye.
Coming in hard with the depravity you see. This is the worst hour of the week. Reaching new lows with Bryan and Ramsey. This is the worst hour of the week. Worst hour of the week.
Thank you for listening to the Worst Hour of the Week with Bryan Vokey and Ramsey Badawi. Peace be unto the prophet.